Hey everyone, welcome back to 996 The Howl. Currently on vacation, so you know a trade is bound to happen while I'm here. But at a local gas station, had a free copy of this Hockey News draft preview. I swear this is my last draft video for the Utah Mammoth. We got predicted number one overall Matthew Schaefer on the cover of the magazine, and then so there's some interesting stuff here. I'll link my two draft videos in the description, but something of note is they're using the Mammoth logo. Take off these bookmarks. So this magazine obviously published after they announced and revealed the new logo, the Mammoth. I've been getting a lot of mock draft videos in my YouTube algorithm, and a lot of them are saying Utah is going to draft Hagens. We'll get to that later. I don't think so. But these are the draft picks by round. And you can see Utah down at the bottom here. They have all their draft picks except round 7, I believe, if I'm reading that right. I'm shaking. Now, coming from Arizona, obviously, one pick in each round is a bit uncharted territory. Usually Arizona has, 2 picks in the first round, maybe 3. Last year, right when they moved to Utah, they had Iginla and Baudouin drafted in the first round. But next year, they got 3 second-round picks, which might come into play this offseason, or might come into play at the trade deadline, or might come into play at next year's draft. But there's a Utah Mammoth logo and the amount of draft picks they have. They won the lottery, so they're picking at 4th overall instead of 14. Here is the most important part of this is they got little blurbs, and they've ordered their prospects 1 to 100. I'll only do this first page, and then I'll include Brady, Martin, and Jake O'Brien. But they have Porter Martone, who I want, going at number 3 instead of number 4. And they have James Hagens being put at 4th overall. 5'10", 177-pound forward centerman, playing in the NCAA in college. We'll read his blurb, then go to Martone, and then the other one. So going into the season, many scouts projected Hagens to be the number 1 pick, and while he didn't disappoint, he fell a bit after a slightly underwhelming offensive year. But perhaps that can be forgiven, given the quality of NCAA competition. Someone says if Hagens had played in the OHL for London or Kitchener, would he not have 55 or 60 goals, said one scout. The problem I have with Hagens, though, is that he's an undersized, incomplete player. Is he going to beat Logan Cooley? Funnily enough, that's where Utah is slotted to be at number 4. If not, a lesser Logan Cooley is not as exciting. Centering a line with Ryan Leonard and Gabe Perreault, 2 high draft picks previously drafted, Hagens showed he could dish the puck, though he might have deferred too often. Size is also a concern, but scouts recognize there's room in the NHL for sub-6-foot players if they think the game at the level Hagens does. You just wish he were a little bit bigger, said another scout. You can be pretty confident he's going to create offense. He's performed everywhere he's been, and he'll perform in the NHL too. Were those scouts Utah scouts? Yes, the main issue with Hagens is his size. We have Logan Cooley already, so that's why I would lean more to size, and Bill Armstrong loves his size, so we'll get to size a little bit later. We'll go to Porter Martone. They think he's going to go 3 overall. I wish Utah could grab him. 6'3", 208 pounds, plays in the Ontario Hockey League. If you need a distillation of Martone's game, just watch the first ever OHL Top Prospects game this season. The power forward notched a Gordie Howe hat trick in the All-Star Showdown. Gordie Howe hat trick is a goal, an assist, and a fight, with the goal coming as the OT winner. He's a skilled guy who can play it any way you want, said one scout. He's physical, he's hard to get away from the net, and he has a great hands in close. He gets a lot of goals in a lot of different ways. He can handle himself one-on-one, or he can jam the net. Martone has a hockey pedigree thanks to his dad, Mike, who was a bruising Ontario Hockey League D-man drafted by Buffalo. Porter also found more consistency as the season progressed. Some games you would see his physicality. Some games you would see his hockey sense and play with the puck. But He put the whole package together and has the potential to be a quintessential power forward, which Utah needs. He's a right winger, not a centerman, which is probably the only slight to him in regards to Utah. The nice thing is his skating still needs to be cleaned up a bit, which will be no issue once he gets bigger and stronger. Next, we'll go to number 5 ranked Anton Frondell. I've been watching a lot of highlights of him, and I think I would choose him over James Hagens. And we just saw Florida win the Cup. They had Barkov as their centerman. So Frondell, to me, looks like a Barkov. We'll go to comparables. I forgot to do comparables. They say Hagens could be at his best Jack Hughes, and Porter Martone at his best could be Matt Tkachuk. Imagine that. We'll go to Frondell. Best case, Robert Thomas. What started off as a disaster turned into a triumph as Frondell overcame early adversity to have a fantastic draft year. He missed most of the summer due to an injury, then came out of the lineup twice in the first half due to a couple of other, I've never seen that word in my life, maladies? Jeez. Playing internationally in December helped his return. It was a good decision going to the World Junior A Challenge. Said one scout, it's fun to see him at center. I like his approach to the game. He's big, strong, and plays hard. He has a good shot, plays a smart game, and he's very team friendly. There's a natural power to his game. Frondell's second half was punctuated by a scoring tear against pros in the second tier Allsvenskan, which is a Swedish league. I'm not going to pronounce the next one coming up. And peaked when he helped this team earn promotion back to the Swedish Hockey League in the postseason, which was huge for the legendary Stockholm club after 2 failed tries in as many years. He's a big, strong, powerful two-way center. And another scout, he's got that big one-timer on the power play, and I see a middle six center all day long. Imagine having 2 threats on the power play, maybe on different units, maybe on the same unit, Frondell and Gunther with dangerous shots. He's just a mature, NHL-ready, complete package player. 6'1", 198 pounds, centerman, plays in Sweden. Go to Desnoyers. A lot of people want Utah to draft him. To me, I like him better than Hagens, but I rather Frondell or Martone. Martone is my number 1. Desnoyers, 6'1", centerman, 178 pounds. You can see he weighs the same as Hagens, but he's 3 inches taller. And Frondell weighs 20 pounds more than Desnoyers. So Desnoyers, a bit lanky, plays in the Quebec League with Gabe Smith on the same team. Not only was Desnoyers one of the top regular season scorers, he finished second in playoff points while leading Moncton to the Quebec title. Yes, he was playing for a powerhouse team, but Desnoyers was also a major reason why the Wildcats were such a force. He's a smart 200-foot player with really good details in his game. He's getting a ton of ice time with the best team in the league, which tells you something. He plays in all situations, big minutes, and against top lines almost every night. I don't know if there are many guys in the draft as well-rounded as him. He's a good guy you'd want to have on your team, and that's not limited to Moncton. Desnoyers was also a coach's favorite at this Canadian Hockey League NTDP series. No idea. That sort of national team development something. I think that's a U.S. thing. I love him. He brings a little bit of everything from leadership to compete, hockey sense and skill. He might be closer to his ceiling than his floor right now, but I don't see anything keeping him from playing in the NHL and being part of a winning culture. Look at those points, 84 points in the Q, 56 games, and his best case, I wish they picked any other name other than Dylan Strome. I got PTSD from when Arizona drafted him. So that's Desnoyers. We have Roger McQueen, who had that back spinal injury, and they talk a lot about how Caden Lindstrom, who was a top draft pick last draft, missed pretty much the whole season with his back injury, so that could be a concern. And then we have Martin and O'Brien listed at 11 and 12. I know everyone's jumping at Martin and Utah, and this is why. If Utah stayed at 14, they would have my top choice would have been Martin, but because they're at 4th overall, maybe you have to trade down to draft Brady Martin. I don't feel comfortable taking him at number 4. Same with O'Brien. O'Brien's best case, Nick Suzuki, and Martin's best case, Travis Konechny. I'll do the blurb for Martin. Maybe you could pause the video and read it for O'Brien. This video is getting pretty dense. Martin, 178, 6 foot tall centerman. So the players, all the players I think Utah will get: Frondell, Desnoyers, Hagens, some say Martin, some say O'Brien. They're all centermen. The only winger is Porter Martone. In some ways, Martin is a throwback to old school NHL. The kid grew up on a farm in a small town in Ontario where his gym routine was whatever was needed to maintain the family's cattle herd. The way he plays, he might end up being one of the best pros. You've got a kid who has never done power skating or summer skill camps. He is just a hockey player. His compete level is off the charts. He plays both ends of the ice in all the hard areas. Martin didn't have much depth around him in the Sioux. That's the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, where Utah prospects Owen Allard and Noel Nord played this past season. But he piled up points for Canada at the under-18s when he had elite line mates. Martin can play on my team anytime. He's a very competitive guy. He's a good skater, and he delivers the same effort every night, every shift. He never cheats. He doesn't take any shortcuts. He's just a gritty, hardworking player who achieves through energy, effort, and skill. He's the kind of guy every team covets in terms of how he can influence how the whole lineup plays. So this is good. They got the top 100 players. So the first 3 draft picks, Utah picks, I'll have blurbs of them. So that'll be nice for my draft recap video. Finally, we'll go to like what they say about Utah. They got Logan Cooley right here. Utah Mammoth, nice logo. This is why I hate mainstream media, is right here. Astute picks. J.J. Moser, 60th overall in 2021. Emil Lilberg, 107 in 2021. I have never said this guy's name in my life. No one ever talks about him. I never read anything about him. I'm not sure why they chose Lilberg as an astute pick. Why not Cooley? Why not Iginla? Why not Baudouin? Why not Simishev? Why not Boot? The list goes on. And obviously, Dylan Guenther, 9th in 2021. Dubious picks. Fedotov, I always say that, so that's right. Taken in the second round in 2021, shortly before Matthew Nyes. Artem Duda, I disagree with. He's a great defenseman skater, drafted in the second round. He just played his first year with the Tucson Roadrunners. He missed a whole year development when he moved from Russia, trying to go to the NCAA, playing for the state of Maine, but he ran into some contract issues, legal issues with that contract and moving from Russia, so he missed a whole year of development, so I wouldn't put him there just yet. Julian Lutz, yes, second-round pick. He's been really underperforming everywhere except when he went to go play for Green Bay in the USHL, which he actually put up great numbers. He had low numbers in Germany and didn't do quite well with the Roadrunners in his first year. Best trade, you can't go wrong with this. I mean, you didn't give up anything, and you just acquired Gostisbehere and a second-round pick and a seventh-round pick. Other good trades, Sergachev, trading Moser and Geeky for Sergachev was huge. The Dylan Guenther trade, obviously. Trading OEL and Garland for Guenther. The Kemper, Dvorak trade, getting first-round picks for each of them. The Dvorak trade, for sure, that's a huge trade for Bill Armstrong. Worst trade, 6th-round pick from Nashville, and they traded Zucker for a 6th-round pick. Yeah, for sure. They could have got a second or third easily if they just retained Zucker's contract, but because of previous ownership in Arizona, they didn't want to retain money, even though they were moving like weeks later, just hamstrung by ownership, which should never happen ever again. And the return for Zucker was very underwhelming. Same thing with Dumba. Then we go to contract tracker, best deals, Cooley, Keller. Nice to see Kesselring there. And worst value, Valimaki, Krause, and Michelli. I just disagree with Krause. I think he's going to have a huge bounce back year, and it's only $4.3 million. And this is why mainstream media has no idea about Utah. I mean, when they were Arizona, it was forgiven because mainstream media, they don't care about Arizona. But now that they're in Utah, I would have hoped that would change, but it seems like it hasn't changed. By comparison, the 2020 draft is going to be a snore for Utah's scouting staff. I don't know how that's possible. They literally won the draft lottery from 14-4. They're going to do anything but snore. The club made 11 picks last June, but will only have 6 selections at its disposal this summer. I guess, sure, quantity over quality they're going for here. That doesn't mean Bill Armstrong won't be active. He made 3 deals on the draft floor last year. Immediate needs. There's room for improvement on the blue line. Not really. As it stands, one of either Cole or Mata will be taking steady second pairing minutes next season. I sort of disagree. You have Simishev battling for a spot, but I mean, Mata's no slouch. You got Sergachev, Marino, Dursey as 3 of your top 4. Then Mata as your 4th is fine. Ian Cole, I don't think he'll be on the second pairing. And you have Kesselring as well. So I don't know why they think the blue line is an immediate need. Either can do the job in a pinch, but given the franchise has missed the playoffs 12 of the past 13 seasons, dating back to its days in Arizona, Utah needs more than merely good enough. I think their D was great last season. The only issue was they were injured. Long term, they don't even mention forward. They don't even mention centerman and a scoring winger as immediate need, which shows you they do not watch this team. Long-term needs. After giving Vejmelka a long-term extension, Utah has pinned its hopes on him proving this season, not the 3 prior, will be his new standard. I agree. Regardless, it would be wise for the organization to invest in its crease. Though Horrible plays at UMass this year, his play was tremendous. He ranked 9th in save percentage in the NCAA, playing at least 30 games. Long is a list of keepers who struggled to turn major junior or collegiate excellence into NHL success. Better to fortify the blue paint now than be left wanting down the line. They got Vejmelka. Ingram's still a question mark. You got some good AHL goalies in Stauber and Vialta. And then you got Hurribal, Thielen, and Mooser as your goalie prospects. I agree, like, goalies are voodoo. You never know who's going to break out and be a star. For me, you should draft a goalie once every draft. You should never go a draft without drafting a goalie. So I'm not worried about the goaltending position at all. You can make trades for a goalie. They're pretty good in the goalie department. Goaltending wasn't really an issue last year, I would say. Just it's their forward group, their scoring wingers, and the center position could be beefed up. Cap situation. Yeah, they got a lot of money, $22 million. Utah enters the summer with plenty of flexibility. That said, Utah needs to keep in mind Hayden and Cooley both need contracts next summer, which is true. In the system, Armstrong said in April there's a good chance Simishev and Boot will arrive, and they did. So this was a little bit outdated. And it says, did you know Iginla, one of 3 siblings that might be set for pro hockey? His brother Joe plays for the Western Hockey League in Edmonton, and his sister Jade is in her 3rd NCAA season at Brown. So that's it. 18 minutes, draft primer. The draft is next Friday, June 27th. It's going to be a huge, huge day, and stay tuned on this channel for more draft news. Go Utah!